Yesterday, when we left off in our study of the book of Job at the end of chapter 26, it seemed as if Job was starting to get some insight into his predicament. He doesn't agree with his friends. He doesn't believe that he deserves what he's going through. He doesn't believe that he's wicked, and he believes only the wicked go through these kind of hard times that he's facing. So he can't possibly be one of those. He's confused, but he also says at the end of chapter 26, God is incomprehensible. The ways of God, he says in verse 14, these are just the fringes that we can see. So we can't pierce behind the veil and really get to the heart of God, the mind of God, the understanding of God. And that's a good thing to know, because that's absolutely true. We can only know about God and his ways what he's revealed to us. And he's revealed to those things to us in his word. Job didn't have scripture like we do, and so the information, the insights that he have been given in ways that we're not sure of, but he does have many insights. But we can only know God himself and who he is and how he works by what he's revealed. Everything else is guesswork, conjecture, philosophy, and so forth. But we need to go no further than the scriptures and say, here is as far as I can go. Well, Job seems to be there at the end of chapter 26, but unfortunately he actually is not. He returns now to three of his favorite complaints about God and about God's ways. In verse 2, he says, as God lives, who has taken away my right, and the Almighty, who has embittered my soul. So the first complaint is that God has wronged him. And this is probably the foundational concern. When we go through the really hard times of life, it's tempting to say, God did this, and God is wrong in what he's did. If we believe in the sovereignty of God and that God controls all things, and yet we're going through this difficult time, it's hard to not go to the place where we say, well, God is wrong. Why would God have done this? What could possibly be happening here? And that's where Job is. He's complaining about God. God has wronged him. And then in verses 5 to 6, Job now, once again, claims that he is righteous. So he's back to this thing, only the wicked deserve punishment, are in sorrow and difficulties, and Job is not one of them. He is actually righteous. He says in verse 5, far be it from me that I should declare you right. He's talking to his friends. Till I die, I will not put away my integrity from me. I hold fast my righteousness and will not let it go. My heart does not reproach any of my days. He says, I don't see a problem with me. I don't agree with you friends who said I'm wrong. I will hold on to my integrity. I will hold fast to my righteousness. He seems to be directly challenging what was said in chapter 25, verse 4 by Bildad, who says, how then can a man be just with God? And Job is in essence saying, well, I am just before God. I am righteous before God. How far he would take that in his own thinking, in his own mind, I'm not sure, but we don't see any humility here. We don't see any recognition of his own sinfulness. We see what we'd have to say is a self-righteous man. He is okay, he is righteous, and he's not going to back away from that. And then he says that the wicked will lose everything, and so he's not one of them. In verse 13, this is the portion of the wicked man from God, and the inheritance which tyrants receive from the Almighty. Though his sons are many, they are destined for the sword, and his descendants will not be satisfied with bread. His survivors will be buried because of the plague, and their widows will not be able to weep. Though he piles up silver like dust and prepares garments as plentiful as the day, he may prepare it, but the just will wear it, and the innocent will divide the silver. In verse 19, he says he lies down rich, but never again. He opens his eyes and is no longer. He's going on and on about the wicked and what they will suffer and how eventually they'll get all this bad stuff happening to them simply because they deserve it. And so that's his philosophy of life. The wicked will lose everything. The irony is that Job has lost everything. Everything that we find in chapter 1, he's lost. his wealth and his family and his health, everything's gone. And he sees the wicked will lose everything, but Job, who has lost everything, is not wicked. Job is missing some links here, and he doesn't know how to find them. He doesn't know how to comprehend them. But he continues to cling to his self-righteousness. That's not a good place for us to be. So we want to move forward in chapter 28 tomorrow and see what else Job has to say, and eventually what God is going to do to correct it.